DMBI.com. This is John. This report is for the 15th of May. Well, it's an interesting start to the morning, already off some 70. And, this is interesting because we had talked about positive extremes that had been building. So yesterday we developed positive extremes going all the way back to just about 74, 90 range. But going back from the previous day, we had them all the way down here below 74.51, which we just hit literally as I was preparing the setup. The next one going would be here at 74.33. So yeah, filling in those situations. It started here when we had the breakdown of MBO Magenta, and then you ended up with DOC Steel starting to get towards the red DOC right there during this little flat section. But the breakdown had already took place once you saw Magenta below 25. Then it was just a question of, where's the actual trigger signal. Once the Magenta pivots below, anywhere along this range is fine. Ideally, you want to go right below the 25 one, and then the cascade begins. So it's pretty straightforward from there. Intraday, looking at yesterday's action on the rise, pretty straightforward. It's all, Trump excitement, everything, seemingly went okay in China. But at the end of the day, it still focuses everything back to Iran now, and whether the war is going to start again, simply because they're not agreeing to anything. So there's that. You can see later in the day, things faded a little bit, but still recovered pretty much close to it. And then post-market is when they decided to run the table on everyone. Pretty clean. From a daily, it's probably not going to be too big a dramatic situation. When we look at the DOC first here, you still have steel resetting underneath. You're getting close to cyan getting back over red, and red being all the way at the 7+ range is pretty hefty. It's pretty hard to sustain that indefinitely. But you look at the MBI white, and you're just not getting the same reaction. So this is just about a lack of buyers, the profit taking, whatever you want to call it. There's no real major news from a NASDAQ standpoint. Likewise, but then we should start to see that make a significant shift if it's a legitimate kind of distribution, or versus just a simple correction from overbought conditions. And is it really overbought when you really, what other choice do you have? I mean, where are you going to put your money? Oil market is still at a ridiculous level. This is not helpful to anyone, and the euro taking a bit of a hit because obviously you see that there are issues in various countries that aren't going away, and you can see the turmoil, whether it's in Britain, whether it's in France or Germany. These leaders are under pressure because their economies are just absolute nightmare, and the chickens are coming home to roost. And this situation with Iran and that, people just haven't taken as serious because these governments have all been doing what they can to try and mitigate the effects. But at a certain point, and we're going to see it with food prices and everything else later on. What the U.S. is counting on is that everyone's buying their energy from them, but it's still a shift. You're taking it from regular people because they have to pay it at the pump. So it's just you're not creating anything new, and that is the problem. It's not the kind of GDP growth. It's sort of like saying government spending is growth. No, defense spending and that, fine, it's great, it's huge, but it's not really productive. It's meant to destroy things. We look at gold as taking it a little bit on the chin there, and that's just because people are going to have to liquidate to cover that. Bitcoin shouldn't be impacted too much because, again, I think that a lot of this is still the deals going through to get oil out of the strait. So throws that one off. I might as well correct that one while we're here. And, I think that you're going to see a lot more in this troubled area because what's your incentive to the upside other than the fact that there's been, this massive increase in oil? There's no real driver to the engine of growth. And so now you're looking at a situation, as long as it hasn't tipped towards lack of growth, well, that's not exactly an ideal position to be in. So, everyone's still counting on AI growth and that's all fine. But, to support these levels, you really are going to have to, show some kind of shift. And, when things were looking like you might have, an arrangement piece deal with Iran, that's positive. Not so much anymore, but yeah, we'll just continue to follow these readings. But pretty clean so far from a reading standpoint on the move down. Of course, this is the other version of it right here. And that is with the magenta, which just represents your little shift and buy within a broader short configuration. And it's just a matter of narrowing out those specific rules on it. So that's getting nice and tight. So I like the way that's looking. But from a regular DealCon P2, there you go. It's pretty straightforward. This is all dark negative, no change. And, that's a pretty decent distribution. That's going to affect a lot of people if it holds up for market open. And I see no reason why it won't. So that's the long and the short of it to end the week. Very exciting. As always, trade well.